Well, here is my fox that I've made. I want to talk a little bit about this. A number of weeks ago, after one of Paul McWhorter's lessons, I sent a text to Keith Lohmeyer and asked him for some help on how to make a fox for my ham radio. And oh my goodness, he just very quickly answered all my questions, and took me some time to kind of figure that out. He also talked about the code that Lori Pfaffler made to tap out Morse code with an LED. So I started with Lori's code, which you can see here I've taken off of her GitHub page. And then with some modifications and additions, here's my finished product. I broke this project down into 3 different parts. I first started with Lori's code. Then I set up a buzzer, a piezo buzzer for, here's the buzzer right there, using pulse width modulation so that I could actually hear a sound as well as see the LED. And then I set up a relay, a read relay. That was on, I don't remember which pin that was on. That's probably on pin 15, I don't know where it's at. So that I can actually press the PTT button on my radio. So of course I first set it up here on a breadboard, and here you can see my let's see, somewhere here you can see my breadboard. There's my Pi Pico, and I have the different pins laid up here going to different resistors. There's the read relay. I have a transistor amplifier here, and I have 3 different LEDs showing up. And of course this was just for testing and so on. And so I've kind of taken it apart here because I'm past my breadboard stage. Then I assembled all of this into this box. And I could open up that box and show you, but it's just kind of a mess, and I got wires everywhere, and you don't need to see that for right now. Of course, I put my Pico on a solder board, and then I also have this cable that comes out of the box. It comes out of the box here, and it actually has a boafeng connector, which actually connects to my boafeng radio. So when I turn this on, I can actually begin to broadcast a Morse code signal using my ham radio with this antenna, setting to whatever frequency that I want. You can see that I have 3 lights set up here. The green light, when the green light's on, that says that it's on and ready. The blue light means that the PTT has been pressed and it's going to broadcast a signal. And then of course the red, when the red flashes, that's actually the Morse code that's coming out. And so actually this is just a beta version because it kind of works now, but I still have a lot of improvements to work. So this is how I have it set up. Of course I just have, so I turn it on. And then, of course, you can see the lights as they go. Turn my radio on as well. You can see when the blue light is on, and this red light here means that it's broadcasting. And so right here, this is the Morse code that's blinking out. I'll show you what my message here as we go through this. It's actually just a short little message, and then I have a little timer, then it goes to the green light. So now it's in wait mode, and the red light on the radio, well, it actually goes off, and now it's back on again. So I need to change the timer just a little bit. So let me turn this off. Well, I'll just keep broadcasting that just for a minute. You can see on my code here, I have a dot set up as that distance right there, and the dash is 4 times that. And then, of course, within the character, and then between the characters and between the words. And I have different lights that I turn on. And then, of course, this is just pre-set up. Here's the code, which I really appreciate from from Lori Fafler. All that information really helped. I could actually add additional characters to this code as well, which would all just go to help there on that. So as I define the function here, the character blinks, I send to it the character and the buzzer variables. And of course, if the character equals a space, then of course I print a space, and I have show the space on the code here down below. Of course, we won't be able to see that because I'm actually running it from my little box here. And then, of course, if it's a dot, it'll do all of these things. And if it's a dash, then it'll do all of these things. And then, of course, here is my continuous loop. And, of course, in Lori's code, she started with an input statement asking a question. And then, of course, whatever you typed in for your message, that's what that variable was, message. So I just commented this out, and I'm just sending the message DE and then my call sign, KE7UIA, and identifying it as a beacon. And then these are just little different setup tones. I wanted to send a tone to begin with a timer. And then, so for every character in the message, I then call this function, sending the character and then the sound, and so on. And then, of course, this is what it sounds like. So you can see that I'm broadcasting on 467.712 megahertz. And if I turn this over here to my second radio, you can hear what's actually being sent as it's being typed out with the red dash there. Oh, maybe you can't see that. Now it's in rest mode, so the broadcast goes off. Now I'm starting back up again. That's not very much time in between, but I just especially wanted to thank Keith Lohmeyer and Lori Fafler for helping me with this little project. As I move forward here, there are some things that I would like to change. I would like to have just one LED showing instead of the 3. I never really got the volume control adjusted very well. Let's see, I'm not really showing this very well, am I? Let's see if I can change that. Can I do that? Let's see, does that fix that at all? It doesn't fix that at all. I did see an example where someone was able to send an alpha character, which would actually start a new cycle. So I'd like to do that as an improvement. The boards that I soldered all of this onto was quite big, so I'd like to shrink the solder boards. I'd also like to mount a USB port for charging and a USB port for programming. And it's also quite possible that I could use a Pi Pico W for a web interface. So there's actually quite a few additions and corrections that I'd like to do for this project. But again, I'd like to thank Keith and Lori for the help on my project here. Thank you.